Hello everyone, so for today's video, I thought that I would do kind of a podcast, kind of not a podcast, because as you can see, I've got a microphone here. Hi. So I can't be too loud because normally my microphone's really far away, so I'm kind of nervous that I'm going to be like shouting, like, if I cough right now, I'm going to break your ears. Sorry about it. So today I thought that I would do a GCSE related kind of podcast, kind of not a podcast, because I wanted to do a podcast and chat for ages with no cuts. But then I realised I'm not funny enough to do that. I don't have the personality to talk for 30 minutes with no cuts. So we're going to talk for a while. And I'm not going to edit it as seriously as my other videos because it means I've got less work to do. And it means I can make these videos quicker. So I'm gonna make, I can't even do this, but I do need topics to talk about. So if you have a topic that you think me, Alfie Bennett, will be really good to ramble about, please let me know down below. It can be whatever you want. School, specific things about school, life, vibes. So I asked on my private Instagram, not my main Instagram, because I'm too scared to ask questions on my main Instagram for my YouTube, because not everybody knows that I'm a YouTuber, and I'm too scared. So I asked on my private Instagram for people to ask me GCSE related questions, and I got, how many did I get? I think I got about 10 questions, but I'm not going to do all 10, because that means that I'll have to talk quite quick, and I want to talk in depth about questions. This is going to be hopefully a chill moment. Wait, also, sorry, off topic. How cute is my phone case? I did have this on a while ago, but then I changed it to a wildflower one, but now I've changed it back. It's from Casetify. It's their neon sand case. Casetify, I've seen that you've been doing a lot of brand deals at the moment, and I know I'm not a big YouTuber, but I will gladly accept a phone case. So if you want to, I will do brand deals for you. I do not mind. But before we start, I have got an elephant in the room to address. This microphone was kindly sent to me. I'm like a YouTuber now, okay? It was sent to me by the brand, I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but UHRU. So I will try and remember to link the microphone down below, but thank you to sending me the microphone. It is really nice to be able to do podcasts, so thank you. So let's begin with the first question of what GCSEs did I do personally? Besides the whole maths, English and science, I did double science, not triple science, because my mind is not that, it's powerful, but it's not that powerful. I can't do triple science. But I did history, maths. No, I didn't. I did history, business studies, drama, and art. So those are my options. Overall, they were, I know quite a few people who do GCSEs, they have a struggle, picking things. I was very certain of, what I wanted to do. There was no other GCSE outside of maths and all that I wanted to do. There was no extra besides textiles. I would have done textiles, but at my school we weren't allowed to do art and textiles at the same time. I'm not sure why. I think they thought it was too much stress, but I would have done art and textiles if I could. But yeah, I keep on doing that really annoying quirky thing where I try and sing off key. How did I find, next question, sorry, I forgot to say next question, I'm not very good at podcasts. Also, this is my first ever one, so if you judge me on it, I will come to your house and fight you. So, yeah, I'm not very good at talking for a long time without having fun music and quirky face edits. Because I am a basic, boring YouTuber. But, how did I find GCSEs, am I having a stroke? How did I find GCSEs overall? They were what I expected, I guess. They weren't easy. There actually wasn't one exam where I came out feeling like I've done well, which is really good. That's brilliant. There was some exams that were like, okay. There were quite a few where I was like, what the hell was that? That went awful. There was quite a few of those, but in the long run, I did okay. So that's all that matters. But how did I find them overall? Out of 10, I'd rate them like a 6 because in a month, like May 14th to June 14th, you do like 21, 22 exams. So it's quite a few exams. So my brain did turn to mush by the end. So how long did you revise for each subject? Not as long as what I should have. I'm kind of exposing myself, aren't I? I revised quite a bit for science. If you watched my study with me, which probably none of you did, but if you did, you would see that I revised science quite a bit. Maths, I literally did about 5 past papers and called it a day because maths is so hard. I'm like, guys, I'm just saying, I have not used maths at all since I finished GCSEs. So thank you to my school for making me learn that for 2 years. Means a lot. So overall, how long did I revise? I can't actually give you like a time frame of like how many hours I did, but I'd say for like history and science, I did the most. And I probably did those subjects like 2 to 3 days a week, where I would do like 3-4 hours, probably a week. Actually, more than that. I probably did about 5 hours of science a week and like 5 hours of history a week. But then things like maths, I'd have like 20 minutes. And I didn't do any drama revision. So, sorry to my drama teacher, because I was predicted an 8 and I got a 6. And in business, I was predicted a 9 and I got a 5. We going down 4 grades. Did you find revision the night before helpful? Yes, I did, because I don't know about you. Say if I revised something like a month ago, I'm not going to remember that in a month's time, unless you've got a long-term memory or whatever you call it, like where you can take a photo. Photographic memory, which also, that should be illegal. I'm really jealous of you. But if I revise something like a month ago, I'm not going to remember it in a month's time. But if I revise something the day of, I will pretty much remember it. That's a lie. I will be more likely to remember it because I have such a bad memory. Like, it's actually worrying. Like, I think I have short-term memory loss, and everyone's like, you're funny because you're only 16, you shouldn't have that. My memory is awful, and I do history A-level. I'm really proud of myself for picking that, even though it's really hard already, and everyone's really good, and I am not. But so, to answer the question of did I find revision the night before helpful, yes, I did. I actually found revision the day of the exam more helpful, which I wouldn't recommend revising new stuff the day of the exam, which I may or may not have done for history. Forgot to revise certain topics that I had to revise the day of the exam. Not a very smart decision on my behalf, but I preferred revising on the morning of the exam. So say if I had my exam at 9, I'd get up at like 6:30 and be finished for like 7:15, and then from like 7:15 to like 8, I'd do some last minute revision. It's helpful, but I wouldn't do it if you know it's going to stress you out. That's my tip. Next question, when should you start revision? I'm going to move a bit closer because I feel like I'm quite far. Oh, now I'm out of frame. I'm just joking. I'm going to go back. Okay. So when did I start revision? That wasn't the question. When should you start revision? Well, I personally started like proper revision. I'd say I started in the beginning of April, which did not leave me a lot of time to do real revision. It literally gave me like, I thought there was a bug on my wall, then I got really scared. It gave me like a month and a week, a month and 2 weeks, something like that. It gave me like 6 weeks, which you may be like, that does sound like quite a bit of time, but when you've got like 9-10 subjects and there is so much to learn, and you do have to know pretty much everything because you could get asked a question from one end of the spectrum all the way to the other. Okay, anyway, so when should you start revision? If I had to give you a time frame of like the perfect time to start, although it's very early, February half term, guys, I know That sounds awful, trust me. Anyone, and I'm talking anyone, that is revising, like, now, although this video will be posted in, like, 3 weeks' time. If anyone is revising in September, you need to be shot. I didn't make the rules. Jesus did, alright? You cannot revise for, like, 8 months and actually learn stuff.
No, baby, that's not how the world works.
Don't do that. Do not do that. Unless you are the worst person at revising and you need like a month for each subject, then sure, do that. But there is no point doing that much revision because honestly, when I tell you that that's just gonna like make your year 11 really bad. And year 11 is a really fun year. Although I didn't enjoy year 11. I'm not gonna go into detail about why, but I didn't enjoy year 11. As much as other years, but still, if you're doing revision all the way from September, your year's going to be a lot worse, and it's your final year before you get to A-levels, and let me tell you that you should enjoy your younger years. I'm saying that as if I'm like an experienced person at A-levels, but from my 1 month of doing it, appreciate the years below. So, when should you start revision? February half term is a good time. I think that if you do February half term, you can give yourself like a long time to do revision. Like, you don't need to do hours every night. You could literally probably do about an hour, if that, every night for the whole time, and you would get everything done. Next up, should you revise every small detail for every exam? Yes. But also,
no.
That does not make sense. Okay, I need to go into detail. So, if you're in a lesson, if you're doing like history or geography or those very like content-based subjects, yes, you do. Because I can't actually remember what my questions were for history because they were such a long time ago. Well, actually, I think I remember some of them, but like I can't be bothered to explain it because GCSE history is out of my mind and I only do A-level history now, so... Because I'm an A-level student, whoa, I'm so annoying. So history, definitely do revise every small detail because you could get a question that is super specific. I'm trying not to do my P's very powerfully because it will come off on the microphone. But yeah, if you do history, then definitely do revise every detail because you could get a question that is super specific and it could be like a 2-year gap and you may have only learnt like the main points between those 2 years, but you need to know like what happened in each of those events so that you can like feather out your essay with knowledge, which I know is annoying, and I'm not going to preach here. I'm not going to sit here and preach that I did that, because I didn't. I did not sit and do every single detail. For medicine, I was quite good, and I did quite a lot. But like American West, Richard and John, and Nazi Germany, I did not do that. And I'm just fine. Should I go through what I got at GCSE? I'll do that in a minute. But yeah, revise every detail. But for things such as like maths, obviously, that's not like learning. Like that's like not... I don't know where I'm going with that. Basically, revise. I should not do a podcast. So before we do carry on, I think it might be smart I let you guys know what I got at GCSE, and I can't remember, so let me just go get my results sheet because I've literally got it right here. Oh yeah, I look like a troll today as well, so if anyone makes a comment about my appearance, that is fine. Also, guys, I think we need to address the elephant in the room, that you guys do not know how tall I am, and I feel like I want to tell you, because I am a giant, and I don't like it. I am 6 foot 1.5, and everyone says 6'2", but I make sure that it's 1.5, and it is so annoying being tall. Like, I want to be like 5'10". I want to be petite. Results day, we may talk about that in this video, or we may do a whole separate podcast related to results day. Maybe I'll do that close to results day to like put you guys at peace if you are in year 11 and you are stressing out already, which if you are, take a chill pill. I forgot that GCSEs existed until April. Fine. So combined science, I got a 7.6. I'm not going to say like that's an A and a B because like if you're doing GCSEs, you should know what they mean, and I can't be bothered to tell you. So yeah. So combined science, I got a 7.6. Business, I got a 5. Drama, I got a 6. English language, I got a 7. English lit, I got an 8. History, I got a 7. Maths, I got a 5. Yes. And art, I got an 8. So I was happy with my results. The only one I wasn't happy with was business and kind of drama because I was predicted like 3 grades higher or 4 grades higher in those. But that just gives you a bit of context into how I did so that you know like the perspective of like where I'm coming from with like my ability, which doesn't really matter, but whatever. Next up, is it as hard as teachers make it out to be? In my opinion, no. I think that teachers build a lot of pressure, especially considering people now start their GCSEs in year 9, like revising for their GCSEs in year 9, which, imagine doing a revision for your GCSEs, which you've got in like 2 years' time, or like 3 years' time. Effort. I don't have that. Sorry, no. Teachers made it very, they made it a lot more dramatic than I think it should be, because they were like, you need to pass, otherwise you will fail, which that does make sense. But they were like, GCSEs matter. No, they don't, love. They really don't. I have not spoken to anyone about my results since getting them. Like, none of us spoke about, apart from like the day before when we were all shitting ourselves, and the day of, and like the day after. That's the only time when any of us spoke. Now none of us talk. None of us care. No, not none of us talk. None of us talk about our results because no one cares. Because everybody, on results day, it sounds quite bad, but you do need to be quite selfish. You only care about yourself, really. Like, I cared about what my friends got, but like, ultimately, the day is yours. Like, you've got to think about yourself. So no one talks about them, and no one cares about them. So the teachers make it seem like they do matter. They do. I'm not saying they don't at all. But I think they only matter to get you onto the next stage, to like get you into college or into sixth form. I think that's the only reason why it matters. So I wouldn't care too much about teachers if they're making it seem really dramatic, because they're not the ones that are sitting the exams, it's you. So you need to kind of like not listen to them if they're making it seem like they're super crazy. Just like take a chill pill and calm down, which I didn't do, but I'm trying to like promote good things to you guys. Next up, how did you manage your time?
I didn't.
I am pretty bad at like, well, I know like, because if you guys in year 11, you obviously have revised before. So like, you know, when you're revising and then your brain, like you can feel it when you're not actually learning anymore. I'm quite good at being like, right, bye, I'm off. Like I know when to stop revision. Like I don't work if I can't feel that I'm actually revising. But when I'm revising, I would do like quite big chunks and like stress myself out almost, where I'd do like, I'd have a full day at school, I'd come home, then from like 4 till 10 with dinner in the middle, I'd do revision. And the only reason why I did that is because I left it until April. So just know that if you start early, you can finish earlier in the evening, and you don't have to stress yourself out anywhere near as much. I wish I took that piece of advice if someone gave it to me, which they probably did, but I am a stupid bitch and I didn't listen. So make sure that you start early so that you can manage your time. And yeah. Next up, favourite subject at GCSE. If we're talking about like my favourite exam, or if we're talking about like my favourite subject, I'll kind of combine the two to give like a full-on answer. One would be art, because if you guys do art, you don't actually take your exam in the same time frame as when you do your GCSEs. Like you do your art exam before May 14th. You do it at like April, I think. I can't really remember when, but you do it like a few weeks before and then it's out the way. Wait, oh God, just scared you. Which I personally really liked. I liked how it was out of the way. I liked how you just had like, we had a 10-hour exam. I think it's the same for everyone, but just pop your music in and chill. And that is on what, love? Period. Guys, I keep on making myself cringe so badly. My Englishes both went quite well in the exams, apart from English. I think I'm having another stroke. English literature, paper 2, which is the one about poems, which I don't like. I had, guys, honestly, it was not a good day. I was so stressed about that exam because the poems are the thing that stressed me out the most about that whole exam. And also, we did Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde, or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Okay, praise how much I revise. We had that as well, and that was my most stressful novel. Also, this is my nose piercing. I'm not picking my nose because my nose piercing is being a bitch in the moment. And it almost fell out of the party last night. I walked into that exam very stressed. It was the worst, like, I had the worst anxiety out of all the English exams for that one. Like, I was chugging Rescue Remedy like there's no tomorrow. And there was one poem out of 15 that I didn't want. And that was War Photographer. This is my luck. War Photographer was the poem. So, yeah, I was depressed about that. I was looking around and like, I felt like a big weight just like literally just like pushing me against my table. I was so like stressed because I was thinking, this is the one poem that I haven't revised and I need to know context, and I didn't know context and I didn't know any knowledge. But you guys want to know the weird thing? I got a 9 in that paper. I'm not sure how I got a 9 in that paper. I got a 7 in paper 1 and I got a 9 in paper 2. Which doesn't make sense. But best exams were Englishes. They always go pretty okay. Well, they weren't at the time okay, but like when I walked out and like actually finished them, I was like, that was okay. Because it's like, you just have to write. Like, you don't actually have to like think as much as like when you're in science, when you're in like history or something. Like, you don't actually have to think about like facts. You just have to make yourself sound smart, which I'm not very good at doing, but that is fine. I will give you guys some final words of wisdom. I'm not very wise, so this probably isn't my forte, but just make sure that you revise for every paper of every exam. I also didn't do that. I'm not very good at preach. Like, I preach loads of stuff, but I don't do it myself. But that's okay. So make sure that you revise for every single exam that you've got. Like saying, I keep on using history as an example because it was the only, like, it was the biggest GCSE for me, like the most important one, in my opinion, just for me. I had 3 exams. I was super smart and I revised like crazy for the first one, and then the other 2 came round and I had not done anywhere near as much revision as what I should have. So just make sure that you like balance your revision. So like you're revising paper 1, 2 and 3 at a very similar pace so that you aren't like miles ahead in revision in one and like down here on the other. That is not very smart. So yeah. And then also just don't stress. Like, do not stress about revision. Like, don't stress about revision because revision isn't the part that matters. The actual GCSE, well, what am I saying? The revision does count, obviously, to learn stuff. But when you're revising, don't be stressed because you've got nothing to be stressed when you're revising. Like, you've got no exams when you're revising. So that was a shit piece of advice. But just don't be stressed. I know it's easier to say than to actually do. And I was actually pretty good at not being stressed because I'm quite a chill person, I think. I'm quite, like, laid back. Whoa. So just make sure that you remain calm, remain casual. Rescue Remedy will be your bestie if you are stressed out. I chugged bottles of those in the first exam. Anxiety tings. But that is everything that I've got for this podcast. Kind of not a pod... Thought I just heard a dog bark. So that is everything I've got for this podcast. Kind of not a podcast. I need to think of a name for it, and maybe that'll be the name. Podcast, kind of not a podcast. That sounds pretty lit. But I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it's like, I don't want you guys to think of it, if you've made it this far in, hi. But I don't want you guys to think of this as like a video that you need to like sit and like listen to, because it's obviously like quite a long video. So you don't need to sit and revise. You don't need to sit and listen to the whole like up close and just like a regular video, because it's like a podcast type where you like have it on in the background or like listen to it whilst you're doing other things. So yeah, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up and you can subscribe down below if you want to. I'm not sure how often these are going to come about, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up and you can subscribe down below if you want to. Also leave a comment of any podcast requests you'd like. If there's a certain topic that you want me to talk about in detail, if there's any sort of events you want me to talk about, literally anything, because you guys are the viewers, so you are the people that are going to watch this. So I want to make sure that I'm doing stuff that you want me to do. So yeah, I hope that you guys have a really good day, and I hope that you've got a really good week, and hopefully I will see you guys next week, next Saturday, for a brand new video. Bye.